Hi everyone, this is Gayle. Welcome to my channel tonight. We're talking about self-care and self-love when we go on vacation, because if you've all ever asked yourself, if vacation travel is supposed to be so much fun, why am I so stressed? Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So I want to invite you first up. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. And welcome back if you have been here before. My name, as I said, is Gayle. And on this channel, we're all about the hashtag Be Bodacious. That means you're not going to let life get in the way of living, because that's something we often struggle with, especially like if you're traveling by yourself. Solo female travel is a thing, and we can get in our own way sometimes, right? So we're going to be talking about that tonight, and basically how not to do that so that we can relax and have fun when we're on a trip. And so there's a lot of different things that go into that, and we're going to be talking about some of it. Let me make sure that this is indeed posted over in our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Gayle Vlogs. Okay. The reminder is there. So, yay, good for us. All right. And if you've not joined our Facebook group, come on over and join us. Also, I'm going to be setting out a reminder by text message to someone. And that would be Stellar Piper, because I don't see her yet. So hopefully she'll be in here. Okay. Got that done. So there's different things to talk about when we're talking about self-care and self-love on a vacation. A lot of it goes into planning in advance, but there's a lot of things that we can do on that moment when we're on a trip too. So we're just going to get started talking about that tonight. This is probably going to be a couple of live streams. So any questions that you have, drop them down in the comments section. If you come back after the live stream, drop them down in the comments if you're here during the live stream, okay? Because I want to hear from you. I want to get your thoughts and your ideas on what gets in your way the most when you're traveling. What keeps you from enjoying it, being able to relax? So let me know that. That's what we're talking about. All right. First things first, for those of you who are not familiar with my channel, I do a lot of solo female travel. I do a lot of van life, some RV living. So I'm likely to be in a campground or a hotel or on the side of the road or at a truck stop. Those are all places that I stay when I travel. So I've got a whole range of experiences there. But I also worked in the travel industry for a number of years. And I have written articles, traveled myself, worked everything from a hotel desk clerk to a travel writer. So I got lots of experience in between. And I draw on that for these live streams and for, our videos in general. So if you want to know about how to cook on a mini griddle while you're in a van, I got you covered on that too. So check us out. So a lot of this, going back to the self-love thing, a lot of this is about pre-planning, but not everything, because there are some things that you can do in the moment that will help you have fun. So I'm going to talk right quick for just a minute about some of the things that we can do to plan ahead. Don't worry, these are not complicated, okay, you all? So you can take notes if you want to. That is not a problem. Okay. I'll also see about putting some timestamps in the description below. Okay. So the importance of staying hydrated cannot be overstated. So make sure that you drink continually. Now, something that I like to do is I have this large water bottle. If I fill this up during the day and I pour out of it for cups of tea or drinks of water and so forth, then I have a really easy gauge of how much water I've taken in, and I know whether or not to up my game and how much to up it. So this is a great, I bought this at a gift shop, Tennessee State Parks. That's where I was when I bought this. But you can get them for pretty inexpensively, like at Walmart. You can order them on Amazon. I got this one, like I said, through the state parks because I also like supporting nonprofits. And many of the parks, if not all of them, are charities, whether you're at a national park or even state park or your local one here at home that your kids always go to play in. They all need our support. So I like getting things at the gift shops. This bottle, you want one that's really sturdy. It's got a wide mouth, so it makes it easy to pour. The loop here, and you can get this on any bottle. I'm not selling this, okay? You can make sure you got a loop. You can put your belt through it, put it on a backpack, just something that you can use to keep it with you. This is huge because did you know the number one reason on mission trips that people get sick? Lack of staying hydrated. If you need Gatorade, talk to your doctor about that, and you. So if you need Gatorade, fill it with Gatorade. Take Gatorade powder, take Gatorade tablets with you, whatever you think you need. However you need to do it to stay hydrated, that's number one. And it sounds so simple, but it's really hard to do because once you get out there and you're in line and you're at an amusement park and it's hot, you forget to drink. So don't do that. So first and foremost, really easy in theory, stay hydrated. So bring that refillable water bottle and make sure you drink plenty of water all throughout your trip so you can stay hydrated. Okay. Next up, some of this is going to be a little repetitive, so work with me here. Next up, snacks. Try to take some kind of snack with you, preferably healthy. Peanut butter crackers are good. Cheese crackers, if you can put a snack together before you leave home, those are good. Just make sure you have some kind of snack with you because you're standing in line. You're at that amusement park. You've got an hour wait to get on, pick a Disney ride, right? And you don't want to get extra hungry. So have a little snack that you can nibble on, just something to kind of get you through. And one thing too that we need to talk about is on trips, it's always go, go, go. Have y'all ever noticed that? You are busy from the moment you start planning and get ready to pull out of the driveway on that road trip. It is go, go, go. So what you want to do when it comes to self-love is you want to take regular breaks, okay? Schedule your rest stops so you can get out and stretch your legs, take a short walk, and just, give your body a break from sitting in the car. If you're at an amusement park, plan time to find that quieter little section so you can go and you can just sit and you can just breathe for a minute and just kind of let things slow down and just take those regular breaks. Now, a lot of people like taking breaks if they're at a beach or at a lake and they kind of envision themselves, sitting on the water or sitting and staring at the water rather with their favorite book and their favorite drink. And you have this picture in mind that you're going to be sipping from your glass and you're going to read your favorite book, right? But what happens? We get maybe 10 minutes of that, right? And that's because we haven't scheduled any downtime to take care of ourselves. So try to find a way to, even if you can't do it every day, try to find some way to put in, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, scheduled. Whether it's 10 minutes before the kids get up in the morning or 10 minutes after you get back to your room. Just plan on that time for you because you need it. So a couple of things that you can do to kind of help carve out that time is a friend of mine shared that when she goes on a trip with her kids, they have downtime in the hotel room, and the kids have to read or color or draw or do some kind of quiet activity for 10 minutes. And she says that she does this every time they go somewhere. Now, I liked to try to take time while we were waiting on pizza to be delivered if we ordered food out, and have the kids, get showered and stuff like that, but just kind of as a calming type period. Doesn't matter when you do it, okay? What matters is that you do it, because it's tremendous when it comes to enhancing your quality of your trip. You want to do that. So schedule that. So you're staying hydrated, you're having your snacks, and you're taking your regular breaks. But try to work in some stretching and some exercise if you can, whether you want to do those yoga poses during your rest stops or work with those resistance bands in your room. Don't laugh, okay? Don't laugh, because we overlook this, right? But you've been standing, you've been walking, you're doing all these things that are unusual for your body in the amounts that you're doing them. So a few little stretching, it helps, and you can do that during, your scheduled scheduled breaks. And I get it. You're sitting there thinking, how can I do this? I've got all this stuff to do on vacation. How can I take 5 minutes? And I'm not talking about, taking an entire day. I'm literally talking about like a 5 or maybe 10-minute break. Well, the thing is, you would probably find a few minutes at home. A lot of us will take a few minutes. Maybe it's not a lot. Maybe we're just listening to some soothing music while we're picking up the kids from school, or, something like that. We tend not to do that on vacation. So all I am suggesting is that for self-care and for self-love, that you take a few minutes. And, maybe you're the type of person that takes a walk every day, or you go to the gym every day. Do you know how few people work in the regular things like that when they're on a trip? Very, very, very few. So try to incorporate a touch of that in your trip. Your mindfulness, your meditation, if you do that, practice those techniques when you're on the road. Get that mental well-being going and reduce that stress, especially if you're on a long drive. Now, if you're on a long drive, you have some benefits, right? If you are not the one that's driving all the time and you're the passenger, you can take that 5 minutes. If you are the driver, you can switch off, and then you can both have 5 minutes. If you want to do something together when you're in the car, then put on that mindfulness tape. Just don't let it get the driver so calm and focused that they fall asleep, because you don't want that. You just want to change your mindset, just like you have changed your physical location. All right? I know you're thinking, how am I going to do this? Try to find a way to incorporate just one of these things. Just one. That's all I'm asking for. So, all right. Now we talked about that, let's talk about just some basic things that you need to take on your road trip that will help with the self-care. Some of this is pre-planning, but you don't even think about it. Your book. If you enjoy reading, then bring your book with you for the road trip, so you will have it. You can take your 5 minutes when you're reading, right? So take your book, take one that you're going to like. I have not read this one yet. If anybody has, let me know. It was recommended to me, so I hope it's good. The Lost Girls, New York Times bestselling author of The Lost Girls of Paris, Pam Jenoff, the ambassador's daughter. Okay, this was sent to me to read, so I got to do that. So take your book, take your phone. If you take your phone and you plan to read a Kindle book or any kind of book online, download it to your phone, okay? Because if you don't, you'll get stuck out someplace that doesn't have Wi-Fi, or you'll have your data just limited because some hotels don't have great data. So download it ahead of time. Makes life much, much, much simpler. So take your book, plan on that, but also take lotion. Take your favorite lotion with you because your skin's going to get drier and you are going to need something. So take that with you. Okay. On a trip, though, one thing you don't want to take is something that's got a strong odor. Now, I'm not necessarily against lotions that are strong odors. I love my Bath and Body Works as good as the next person. I just think it's wonderful, but the strong odors do tend to attract bugs, and you don't want that. Yellow jackets especially are drawn to those sweet odors. So just watch that. Try to get something that's low scented or even scentless. Yeah, and this is vanilla bean, and it smells wonderful. Not something that I want to take on a trip though. So make sure you take your lotion. You don't have to take a big bottle. Take something small that'll fit in your purse or pocket. Sunscreen. Has anybody ever forgotten sunscreen when they were on a trip? Anybody? Okay. So take your sunscreen. You can get these little bitty tubes like anywhere, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, any place that's got a little tiny travel section. So they're not, you're spending what, $1 on these, $1.50 maybe. So get something that you can carry with you. Now, obviously, a small little tube is not going to do the job of a big tube, but they can be a great backup. So take that with you. Nobody wants to get sunburned. My daughter did that. She totally forgot her sunscreen, went on a college school trip, wound up getting so sunburned that she ended up in urgent care, had a miserable flight back home. So now whenever she leaves somewhere, I'm like, did you pack your sunscreen? And she's like, of course I did. So it's really important. So take a little tube with you, all right? Take your makeup, your travel makeup. And if you don't have a little makeup bag or a little Ziploc bag or something, you can pick it up, you can put it in. These are like $1. You can get them $1.25 actually. You can get them at the Dollar Tree. And yeah, just put a few things in it that you think you're going to need. Your favorite makeup and your sunscreen, a couple of other odds and ends. I'll put $1 or $2 in here just to have it. So yeah, all of that. Bring it. And I have talked to women who said that they even struggled with having enough time to put on their makeup when they were on vacation. So that's actually what led to this live stream, because if you don't have time to put on your makeup, then you've got a couple of things going on here. Your vacation makeup routine may be too extensive for your vacation, and you might need to pare it down a little bit. You're not taking enough time for yourself so you can get the full benefits of your vacation. So you got to, allow for that. So simplify. When you're on a road trip, less is more. So simplify. So you'll be able to have time to put on your makeup. The other reason that you may not be having time for your makeup is because it may be just a time management issue. Especially as women, because we really have a tendency to shove everybody else out the door and we're last on the totem pole. So that can mean that our makeup doesn't get done, or any number of things just fall through the cracks. So look at your last vacation. What were the things that kept you from having a good time and being able to just really get the most out of your vacation, and change those things? Was it a matter of not scheduling breaks so you could, put on your makeup or do your stretching or something like that? Were you just too busy for it, or did you just push, your needs down to the very bottom? Because we don't want to do that. Because what do they tell us? Like on, any kind of airplane situation, if something goes wrong, they tell you put your oxygen mask on first before you can help somebody else. So, dude, the same thing applies to road trips, people, okay? Same thing. So do that. Also, time as a couple. If you are not traveling by yourself and you need time as a couple, just plan ahead for a little quiet afternoon or evening in your hotel room just to kind of rest and relax. Because even if you're traveling as a couple, if you are out at an amusement park all day or you've been hiking all day, it doesn't mean that you've taken time to connect. So my secret weapon for connection time is to have a little box of cheese and crackers and something to drink out of that's kind of nice. Now, this was a whole, $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. I got a couple of these later, but you don't have to have anything fancy. Your plastic cup from the hotel room is just fine. But what about these? What do these boxes say to us when we get a box like this? What does it say to us? When do we get these? Usually around Christmas and around the holidays, right? Yeah. That's when we get them. So when you sit down and you're at a hotel and you pull this out, I don't care if you're having it on a paper napkin, just having it says special, right? Special. So take something like this, pull it out, and have it one evening or one afternoon in your hotel room and enjoy just that special moment. These things are like $10 at the holidays. You can get them for half price the first week of January, which is when I got mine. So for $5, I have just a nice hotel moment where I can connect with my husband, and it doesn't have to be long or romantic, just real quick there. So plan for that. And because the more you plan for something to happen, the more it's going to happen. If you plan to connect, it's going to happen. If you don't plan for connection, it's not going to happen. If you plan to take that 5-minute meditation, it'll happen. If you don't plan for it, it won't. It's just like being at home. If you plan to take 5 minutes to linger over a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, if you plan for that, then it's going to happen. If you don't plan for that, life gets in the way. Road trips are the exact same way, except there's more guilt if you don't really relax and have fun on a road trip. Have y'all ever felt guilty? I bet you have. And that often comes from you were on the road trip, you couldn't connect, you couldn't relax, and so you get home and you're like, wow, I am so stressed. I need a vacation to recover from my vacation. That's because you weren't able to really find a way to relax. Stellar Piper's in the house. She says, I'm so sorry. I was making dinner and lost track of time. That's all right. We're just glad you're here. Glad you are here. So this whole thing is about self-care when you're on a road trip. And I did use you, Stellar Piper, as an example. We talked for a moment about the importance of sunscreen and having even just a little tube of sunscreen in your makeup bag, your tote bag, really helps, doesn't it? Because, one of the things is about trips, something as simple as not having your sunscreen can make you regret a good part of your trip. And so once you that. And so once you skip something that really seems simple, you find it and it interferes with your enjoyment of your trip, you really see how the little things aren't. And that's why I'm saying plan for your meditation time, plan for your time to sit and read your book. If you like to do crafts, take a craft project with you that you can do on the road. You know, whether you can do it while you're, how am I going to say this? Whether you do it in the car while you're traveling or while you're sitting on that riverbank, take a small portable craft with you if you are a craft person. Download your meditation to your phone if you're a meditation person. Download your book to your phone if you're a book person. Plan for it. Now, Stellar Piper is saying she also highly recommends travel journaling for self-care and helping you remember. Yes. Yes. In fact, we talked about that some last week, how I'm always traveling with my notebook that I have open right here. 2 powerhouse secret weapon tools, a pen and paper. Because you can jot down your thoughts and your observations as well as make your trip notes. Beautiful beach, sat 5 minutes, stared at water. You know, that's a really, 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 really good note to have in your journal. So definitely journaling for self-care, helping you remember, that's awesome. And these days, some of our self-care can come through just taking photos on your phone. You want to live in the moment and you want to capture everything. Just don't let that become something that limits your enjoyment on a trip, because your self-care is why you're on the trip. Yeah. So especially if you're doing like solo female travel, self-care is part of why you're on the road. So don't let anything get in the way with that, okay? So some of the other things about self-love and self-care is making sure that you bring your medicines, your vitamins. You don't want to spend time doing what I've seen other people do, and I've experienced myself, because you didn't have something or because you didn't have a refill available. You start having to hunt and track down a pharmacy, get in touch with your doctor at home, something like that. So take a quick glance before you leave home and make sure you've got that. It's because the last thing you want to do is start running in circles looking for things that are critical to your trip. So plan for that ahead of time. Even if you use a national pharmacy, that's going to cut down a lot of the stress right there, because you can have the situation where your doctor is on the East Coast and you're in Alaska. Been there, done that. And trying to have prescriptions filled and going back and forth is just a pain. So going to that nationwide pharmacy can really lower that stress level. So part of it is in the planning. Now, I know some of you are thinking that, yeah, but I do all this planning anyway. Not always. And even if you're doing a lot of planning, we don't take a second to go double check and you look at our list and make sure we've got everything. You know, we make sure the kids are in the car, the husband's in the car, that the gas is in the car, but we forget like our personal care essentials, you know, and we forget about our entertainment and relaxation, the books, the playlists, the audiobooks. We forget those, you know, hand sanitizer, face wipes. We forget those for us. So all I am suggesting is that you make that intentional, just as you would, like if you were at home or whatever, make that intentional that you have those things. So you don't have to run around in circles and your stress level is going up trying to find different ones. Okay, Stellar Piper's saying that she ran out of her meds in Montana once, but because it was at Walgreens, she could get it. There you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. I wound up having to go hunt them down in Alaska one time because I wanted to get them at home before I left for Alaska. And the pharmacist was like, sorry, your insurance won't cover it this early. You're going to have to wait till you go where you're going. And I'm like, great. So I had to run around at Fairbanks, but I was able to get it because it was a national pharmacy. Stellar is also saying that national chains for things like glasses are great if they get broken or something. Very true. Very true. You know, good thing to keep in mind. Also, if you're on a trip, one of the things about taking care of yourself is to make sure you bring your glasses case. All right. I always have mine on my face. So, like, the last thing I ever think of is my eyeglass case. So, if something happens to these eyeglasses, I am in so much trouble. So, a thick eyeglass case that I can put them in at night is tremendously helpful. I don't have to worry about them getting knocked off in a strange environment where I don't have to worry about where the furniture is at night. Because you got to think about this. If there is ever a recipe for disaster, it's being in a hotel room that you're not familiar with at night in the dark and you can't find things and you've got to go to the bathroom. You know, is that not a recipe for disaster there? So, knocking off your glasses, having them get broken or scratched or whatever, just get something, even if you don't use it at home. Yeah, Stellar Piper says bring your insurance card traveling. Absolutely. Absolutely. Must have. Must have. You know, and you know, that's something that normally we have it at home. But when we're switching out purses and going from a purse to a backpack or a backpack to a tote bag and vice versa, it's really easy for things like that to get overlooked. So again, be intentional about that. And you know, be intentional about your entertainment and your relaxing, so you can be more relaxed during your journey. It's really important. But self-care also means getting restful sleep. And you got to put that on a priority when you're traveling. Because whether you're on a road trip or going sightseeing and you want to go, you've got to have restful sleep. So you've got to put that as a priority by make sure that your accommodations are going to be safe and comfortable. Make sure that your car seats, bring an extra pillow if you need to make it comfortable. You know, a lot of people like the travel pillows. Bring those. If you're going to be in an area where you've got a lot of sun, definitely bring a travel mask. But I would say bring the travel mask for the car, for the hotel. Make sure you have that, okay? And again, that's something you can get at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. Or you can spend lots of money and get a heated one, whatever you like. Bring that with you because you can be in a really, really bright environment and you may need that. You know, you might want to have it on the plane or in the car. It's a simple, small thing to be intentional about that will help you get some restful sleep. Earplugs being the other thing that can help. Now, so plan for that. Because if you don't get enough sleep, your body's going to let you know. And if your body starts letting you know that you're not getting enough sleep, then guess what? You're not going to have that great of a time when you're on the trip. So plan for that. And at home, we may be really good at doing sleep hygiene at home. But you've got this pressure when you're on a trip to go and do as much as you can. And that pressure is something that we forget about. But it's there. How many times have you heard somebody say, or maybe you've even thought for yourself, I'm spending all this money on vacation, by golly, I am going to enjoy it. I am going to be out there every minute. I'm going to do every ride at the theme park. I am going to see every site in that city. And I am going to get my money's worth out of the trip because it's going to be a once in a lifetime experience. And I have to have every moment. I've been guilty. I know a lot of other people have too. And so what happens is we put that pressure on us, then we wind up not taking care of ourselves, not getting enough sleep. We get tired, we get cranky, and then what's just happened to our nice, relaxing trip? Poof. Peter Parker is in the house. Hey, Peter Parker. Good to see you. Unfortunately, you're still sick. I hate that. So I hope you get to feeling better. I hope you get to feeling better. So, and actually, Peter Parker saying he's still sick brings me to talking about those personal care essentials for self-care. You know, you want to make sure that you pack some pain relievers, your basics. You know, I'm talking about like Tylenol or Aleve, a couple of little Band-Aids, but also some medication for nausea, anything that you might need for headaches. Some people, instead of using the Tylenol and stuff, some people like something that they rub on their forehead. Bring that with you. You know, your anything that your decongestant, your antihistamines, things like that, just those small things, bring those with you. So if you start to not feel good or you start to get sick, you can take care of it, hopefully, really easily. And of course, if you need more, there's telehealth, there's urgent care, and we'll talk about all that stuff on a different live stream. So what does your ideal vacation look like? You know, I've talked about, you know, being on the go and doing every single thing. What does your ideal vacation look like? Sit down. You can type in the chat, but also before you start vacation planning, I want you to sit down and ask yourself, what does the ideal vacation look like? Is it hiking? Is it a safari? Is it spending it all the time on the beach? So kind of get that picture in your mind and then plan for that picture to make that picture happen, because that is the heart of self-care. And too often we see the travel brochure, we go, I want to go there, without really getting a really good picture of what going there might be. Okay. So get that picture in your mind. If the picture is that you are going to spend time, I'm just going to pick the beach trip. Okay. If the picture in your mind is this relaxing beach vacation where you're going to spend a lot of time on the beach, plan for that. Think to yourself, what exactly do I need to have happen so I can sit on the beach and enjoy my book, drink my water, and take care of myself? Approach all of your trips from that perspective, and you will have a much better time. If it is that you want to spend every moment on a tour with a tour guide, great. But think, what do I need to make that the most enjoyable for me? Do I need new shoes? Do I need to pack a pair of little ballet slippers in my bag? Now, Peter Parker, you probably don't want the ballet slippers, but think about what you might need to take with you for your comfort. You know, shawls. I love shawls. Shawls are absolutely the best thing when I am going on a relaxing vacation, because with a shawl, especially if you are flying, you can use that shawl as a blanket. You can scrunch it up. You can use it as a pillow. You can tie it around your waist and hide it. If you spill something in your lap, you know, you can use that shawl to tie it around your waist and kind of hide that until it dries. There's just a number of things. You know, you can tie it right and you have an extra bag. I love traveling with shawls. So big scarves are like my next favorite hidden secret weapon for traveling, because they make life easier. So if I'm going to go and I'm going to be on this wonderful adventure, then I know I'm going to want to take a shawl because it's versatility just really enhances the trip. And I know I'm going to have comfortable shoes. I know I'm probably going to want either a fanny pack or a large tote bag, and a few basic necessities like being able to get one of those little cheap rain ponchos that people often forget and throw it in the bag. So little things like that can make a huge difference. If it starts raining, you're not one of the ones that's going to be going, oh no, I forgot to bring something. You're going to be taking that rain poncho out of your bag. And you're not even going to have to think about it. You're not going to have to waste time looking for things. You can put that on and continue. It's a small self-care thing, but see how it's part of planning for the picture of what you want your trip to be. If it's going to be that beach trip that I talked about, sunscreen in your bag, your water bottle. Hopefully you're going to take your water bottle regardless, but your water bottle, your sunscreen, your book, making plans on your umbrella to get the umbrella, making sure you have your comfortable beach blanket, all of those things. Because if you shrug off too much of it and you say, oh, well, the vendors will have the umbrella and things at the beach. If you plan on it, great. Make sure it's there. Don't think to yourself, oh, it'll all be at the beach, and then realize you're going to be there in mid-April and those things aren't available until after Memorial Day. So make some plans, because that goes into your self-care of having a better trip. So, and Peter says he can still crawl on walls inside of buildings. Glad you can, Peter. Glad you can. So it's all, those things are all about having an accurate picture in your mind of what you want your trip, your destination to be like. And that really helps. Now, a lot of times, some of our plans get changed, and that's okay, because we've still developed a roadmap in our minds about what we wanted it to be. Now, even as I say that, let me toss in that we have to be flexible. Flexibility on any trip is key. Don't get so worked up in the exact picture that you can't enjoy life if something happens. One of my first times going to Alaska, I guess it was the first time with my husband when I drove, we had planned this long drive down Turnagain Arm. We were going to drive from Anchorage on down into Girdwood and then on down into Seward and just really relax. We start out, we get outside of Anchorage, boom, there's a traffic accident. We are stopped for 5 hours on the road on our vacation. Now, we had planned to get to Girdwood, and we had planned to have this really nice, relaxing dinner. That didn't happen because we spent 5 hours on the interstate. So we had to use some of our self-care ideas to be able to relax and not lose our cool so we could enjoy the trip, because sometimes things are going to happen. And we were able to do that. We actually decided that if you're ever going to be stuck somewhere for 5 hours, that Turnagain Arm in Alaska is the place to do it. Because it's the Gulf of Alaska and it's just gorgeous. But those things can come up anytime, anywhere, any place. So allow for that flexibility. Don't get yourself so worked up over the exact perfect picture that you lose it. You lose your focus if something happens that's just beyond your control, because sometimes things come up. Not all the time, certainly, okay, but sometimes they happen. So yeah, sit down, plan, have your picture. Stellar Piper is in. Hey, Stellar. It's, hey, I'm saying hi to Stellar. I'm actually going over Stellar's comments so I can bring up Busy Lady. So I can say hi to Busy Lady. And I was going over that. So, yeah, hi, Busy Lady. How are you? It's good to see you. It is good to see you. Yeah, and Valerie Reese has got a huge point. That's why I say it's all about the adventure. Yes, it is. It is. It is. And I think that's the biggest, one of the biggest tips that I can give you about self-care when you're on road trips is to realize it's all about the adventure and to be bodacious so you don't let life get in the way of living when you're on the road trip and you do your self-care, flexibility, do your entertainment and relaxing, plan for that, get your personal care essentials, make sure you get restful sleep. And when you look at all of these, like bringing healthy snacks with you, okay, what does that mean? Throw some crackers in my purse? Check, got it. Because it's a small thing, but it's something when you need it, you really need it. Look at taking those regular breaks, so you don't have to say, oh, we drove for 12 hours. We were in the car. He only stopped twice. So we got gas twice and we ran through a fast food drive-through, and the rest of the time we were in the car for 12 hours. Hey, nobody's going to have time for that. Nobody's going to have any kind of chance to, have a good time. You're not going to stretch. You're not going to exercise. If you're pushing yourself that hard, you're not going to take the time for your mindfulness, to meditate, to listen to soft music, to pull out your craft, to do your book. So plan for those things. Plan for those. Granola, Busy Lady says, definitely. Those granola bars are great to have. Protein bars, things like that. Valerie says if she didn't bring granola bars to India with her, she would have starved. The food there didn't agree. So there you go. Case in point, granola. And that's where planning and bringing your personal care items, your nausea medication, your antihistamines, things like that, and acids, things like that, throw them in a little makeup bag and bring them. Absolutely. Make sure you get comfortable seating. Bring your pillows, bring your cushions. Whether you're on a road trip, flying, whatever, do what you can to be comfortable. And Busy, just for you, I'm showing off my water bottle because we've talked about water before, Busy and I have, and the importance of staying hydrated. So I like to take this because I can tell how much fluid at a glance I need to continue to drink. And so I'll take this, and I have learned to take it, fill it up, and then pour out of it. So if I'm having like a glass of water, I'm pouring that out of here because I can keep up with my fluid intake better. Because dehydration, like when you're on the mission trips, that's your number one cause of accidents. And when I say accidents, I'm not always talking about car accidents, but those little personal tripping over things, stumbling, you get dehydrated, you can't think. Water bottles with loops, you can put it on your backpack or whatever. So yeah, woohoo, water, yes, Busy Lady has got it. So yeah, this is a great tool. I'm also going to go back to my secret weapon for hotel rooms and stuff. These little boxes. We'll talk about those again in a minute. When do we get these boxes? When do these come out in the stores most of all? What season? Christmas, right? The holidays. So we have these available during the holidays. And we get them. I like to go that first week of January when they're all half price and pick up a couple. Just make sure that the expiration dates are as far in advance in the future as you can possibly get. So that when we've been out all day, I go back to the hotel, take this out, take out my glasses, or I'll be honest with you, oftentimes it's plastic cups. Put a little napkins out and have us a little picnic. Because the thing about these, okay, they say special to us. We're so used to seeing them during the holidays that when we see them the rest of the year, it kind of automatically conveys that fun, that kind of sense of specialness, and it makes it easier to connect. The other thing is, if you're hungry and your pizza's not going to be there for an hour and a half, or they forget you, you're also covered with that way too. So it's the small things that we often don't think of when it comes to self-care that really makes the huge difference, because on a trip there are no small things. There's just nothing. When you're looking at trip planning, the small things are what's going to get you. So I like to say that there's really no small things, they're all big things, because it all fits together. So if you don't have a good picture in your mind about what your vacation should be, or if you're so rigid in that you can't break from that and be flexible, you're just not going to have a good time on your trip. So definitely, my number one thing I can suggest about when it comes to self-care is looking and getting this picture for whatever it looks like to you. If it's hiking and you're on that trail, get that picture, and then everything builds into that. What do I need to do to make this happen? And what kind of self-care needs do I need to plan for in this trip? Plan to stay hydrated, plan to have snacks, plan for the personal care, plan for the entertainment and the relaxation. Get those playlists, get those podcasts, and build everything into that ideal picture and plan for it so it'll happen. Because, if you don't plan for things, they just kind of don't happen. Bring a good hand cream. Absolutely. When you're planning for hand cream, the caution that I want to give you on that is to watch your scents for your hand cream. Like, I absolutely love, and Stellar Piper got this for me because it's my freaking favorite thing, vanilla bean. Favorite scent in the world. I am not taking vanilla bean on vacation. Yellow jackets are attracted to sweet scents, so I'm going to try to go with unscented. Or I'm going to have this in the hotel room for when I get back in the evening, because it makes the difference. Sunscreen, I just want to toss this out there. Can't overdo on sunscreen. Very important. Even a little small tube that you just throw in a makeup bag with your personal care kit. Very important, very important. So I hope this is helpful. Now, if y'all have any questions, comments, suggestions, I want you to, if you're not here and can't put them in the chat, I want you to drop them down in the comment section below, because that really is helpful to everyone. Okay. I'm going to have an article on this covering some of what we talked about. It's going to be coming out on my blog. That'll be out tomorrow. It's the Bodacious Broads travel blog. So check that out. Oh yeah. Valerie's saying real safe sunscreen for the Caribbean. I'm sorry. I said real. Reef safe sunscreen for the Caribbean. Be mindful of the environment that you're in. So definitely. Good point. Good point. I would not have thought about to bring up the reef safe. So I'm glad you did. It's awesome. Well, all right, you all. I appreciate you coming in. Excuse me. I've been a little hoarse today, a little bit of coughing. In fact, my dog, I've got a picture over in our Facebook group. I was coughing this morning, and Pipsie decided he was going to make it all better. So he comes running in and he jumps and he lands right on my chest. So I'm coughing. Then suddenly I have 70 pounds on my chest. What can I say? We have to use reef safe when diving. Okay. That's good to know because that's something you can plan ahead for. So I appreciate it. Busy says it's good to see you. Busy, it's good to see you. Very good to see you. So you all go out and have a great have a great week. I'll have the blog post coming out tomorrow. And thank you all for coming out and hanging out with me tonight. It's been great. So go out. Hashtag be bodacious. Don't let life get in the way of living. I'll see you Saturday at 7:30. And, of course, a couple of videos this week. So take care, y'all. Good night.